Okay, so I had some computer glitch and I have to remake a video I just did. So, picking up at line 125-ish on page 128. The runners first must have their quarter mile. All lined up, tense, then go! And down the track they raise the dust in a flying bunch, strung out longer and longer behind Prince Clytonius. By just so far as a mule team breaking ground will distance oxen, he left all behind and came up to the crowd an easy winner. Yeah, woo, Prince Clytonius. All right, it was like mules versus oxen. He's fast, I guess. Then they made room for wrestling, grinding bouts that Sea Reach won, pinning the strongest men. Then the broad jump. First place went to Seabelt. Woo! Sparwood gave the discus the mightiest fling. Whoosh! And Prince Laodamus outboxed them all. Okay, that's kind of fun. Now it was he, the son of Alcinous, who said when they had run through these diversions, "Look here, friends. We ought to ask the stranger if he competes in something. He's no cripple. Look at his leg muscles and his forearms. Neck like a bollard, strong as a bull he seems. And not old, though he may have gone stale under the rough times he had. Nothing like the sea for wearing out the toughest man alive." Then Sea Reach took him up at once and said, "Laodamus, you're right, by all the powers. Go up to him yourself and put the question." At this, Alcinius's tall son advanced to the center ground and there addressed Odysseus. So in a nutshell, he kind of thought, oh, maybe we should invite the stranger. He might be good at something. "Friend, Excellency, come join our competition if you are practiced, as you seem to be. While a man lives, he wins no greater honor than footwork and the skill of hands can bring him. Enter our games, then. Ease your heart of trouble. Your journey home is not far off, remember. The ship is launched, the crew all primed for sea." Odysseus, canniest of men, replied, "Laodamus, why do you young chaps challenge me? I have more on my mind than track and field. Hard days and many have I seen and suffered. I sit here at your field, meet, yes, but only as one who begs your king to send him home." Now Sea Reach put his word in, and contentiously. I have to change this here because this is actually Sea Reach. Okay. The reason being, as I see it, friend, you never learned a sport and have no skill in any of the contests of fighting men. You must have been the skipper of some tramp that crawled from one port to the next, jam full of chaffering hands, a tallier of cargoes, itching for gold. Not by your looks an athlete. Ooh. So basically, Sea Reach insulted him. You got no skills. You were probably a bookkeeper. Odysseus frowned and eyed him coldly, saying, "That was uncalled for, friend. You talk like a fool. The gods deal out no gift, this one or any, birth, brains, or speech, to every man alike. In looks a man may be a shade, a spectre, and yet be master of speech so crowned with beauty that people gaze at him with pleasure. Courteous, sure of himself, he can command assemblies, and when he comes to town the crowds gather. A handsome man, contrariwise, may lack grace and good sense in everything he says. You now, for instance, with your fine physique, a gods indeed. You have an empty noodle." Oh, isn't that the best line in the Odyssey so far? You have an empty noodle. So basically, you got no brains. Okay. "I find my heart inside my ribs aroused by your impertinence. I am no stranger to contests, as you fancy. I rated well when I could count on youth and my two hands. Now pain has cramped me, and my years of combat hacking through ranks and war and the bitter sea. Even so, I'll give your games a trial. You spoke heart-wounding words. You shall be answered." So basically, he decides to join in the games. Oh, yeah, you hurt me to the quick. He leaped out, cloaked as he was, and picked a discus, a rounded stone more ponderous than those already used by the Phaeacian throwers, and whirling, let it fly from his great hand with a low hum. The crowd went flat on the ground, all those oar-pulling seafaring Phaeacians under the rushing noise. The spinning disc soared out light as a bird beyond all others. It disguised now as a Phaeacian. Athena staked it and called out, "Even a blind man friend could judge this, finding with his fingers one discus, quite alone, beyond the cluster. Congratulations! This event is yours. Not a man here can beat you or come near you." That was a cheering hail, Odysseus thought, seeing one friend there on the emulous field. So in relief, he turned among the Phaeacians and said, "Now come alongside that one, lads. The next one I'll send as far, I think, or farther. Anyone else on edge for competition? Try me now. By heaven, you angered me. Racing, wrestling, boxing. I bar nothing with any man, except Laodamas, for he's my host. Who quarrels with his host? Only a madman, or no man at all, would challenge his protector among strangers, cutting the ground away under his feet. Here are no others I will not engage, none, but I hope to know what he is made of. Inept at combat, am I? Not entirely. Give me a smooth bow, I can handle it, and I might well be first to hit my man amid a swarm of enemies, though archers in company around me drew together. Philoctetes alone at Troy, when we Achaeans took the bow, used to outshoot me. Of men who now eat bread upon the earth, I hold myself the best hand with a bow, conceding mastery to the men of old, Heracles or Eurytus of Oechalia, heroes who vied with gods in bowmanship. Eurytus came to grief, it's true. Old age never crept over him in his long haul. Apollo took his challenge ill and killed him. What then, the spear? I'll plant it like an arrow. Only in sprinting, I'm afraid, I may be passed by someone. Roll of the sea waves wearied me, and the victuals in my ship ran low. My legs are flabby. That's another good line. So guess who shows up in disguise again? Yep, it's Athena. She's disguised as a Phaeacian, and she's way out where Odysseus's discus landed, and she's like, yeah, look at this. Even a blind man could find it because it's in the middle of nowhere here. It's the only one out here. So he's like, all right. So then Odysseus starts boasting. He talks about how skilled he is, racing, wrestling, boxing. You know, he'll fight anyone except Laodamas because that's his host. He could do archery, he could do spear throwing, just not sprinting because he's got flabby legs. I love it. Okay, page 132. When he finished, the rest were silent, but Alcinous answered, "Friend, we take your challenge in good part, for this man angered and affronted you here at our peaceful games. You'd have us note the prowess that is in you, and so clearly no man of sense would ever cry it down. Come, turn your mind now on a thing to tell among your peers when you are home again, dining in hall beside your wife and children. I mean, our prowess, as you may remember it, for we too have our skills given by Zeus and practiced from our father's time to this, not in the boxing ring, nor the palestra conspicuous, but in racing, land or sea, and all our days we set great store by feasting, harpers, and the grace of dancing choirs, change of dress, warm baths, and downy beds. Oh, master dancers of the Phaeacians, perform now. Let our guest on his return tell his companions we excel the world in dance and song as in our ships and running. Someone go find the Gittern harp in Holland. Bring it quickly to Demodocus." This Alcinous is a pretty clever king. So first, he shifted gears when he saw that Odysseus was just sitting there weeping into his mantle. Now he shifts gears because he can see that there's a potential for a disagreement if they continue these physical games, and he doesn't want that. So he talks about how the Phaeacians have many things to boast about themselves. Racing is one of them, but the fact that they have nice clothing, wonderful baths, wonderful beds, they're rich. Kind of upper class, and he says they also have some good dancing. So he wants to show Odysseus that, so Odysseus can go home and talk about that.